for being with us here on this big primary night. Joining me now are my friends and colleagues here at MSNBC, Keith Olbermann, the host of Countdown, Chris Matthews, the host of Hardball, and Lawrence O'Donnell, the host of the soon-to-debut Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Fellas, thank you again for helping us out here. Much appreciated. Keith, let me talk to you about this turnout issue. What we've got right now in terms of the turnout figures out of the Senate race in Delaware is not just Christine O'Donnell beating Mike Castle, but what seems to be surprisingly high turnout. 57,000 votes, roughly, counted already with 99% of precincts in. That's higher a number than I had seen projected in terms of expected turnout.
By 12,000 or so.
Yeah.
It was a significant jump. Notice, though, that what the margin between the two candidates is, if you show that vote count total again issuing there's a lot of tea leaves in this cup. It's the question of how big is the cup. She won that thing by less than 4,000 votes, and as fascinating an outcome as it is, I don't know that it's predictive of anything other than the fact that what I referred to before the break, which is that in a time of anti-politics, if you can energize people who would not ordinarily vote one way or the other, they can come in and take a nomination away from what would seemingly be a fairly easy bet. And thus, if you can get all those people and perhaps double that number for the general, you have got a competitive race against the most acceptable and mainstream and non-politic-y looking politician you can find, whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. You can, in fact, beat both of them, and that turnout number suggests that one of the great get-out-the-vote measures is people who think that they have totally dissociated from our political process, who suddenly see one of theirs. And this could be one of theirs being, it could be, as Chris pointed out, disaffected women who like to see women succeed in politics when they did not after the 2008 nomination of Obama over Hillary Clinton. They could be the anti-pleasure vote that you alluded to earlier. They could be people who like to see people named O'Donnell do well. It doesn't matter where you it doesn't matter where you get them, just as long as you get them. We're trying to draw them here at MSNBC. We can get 50,000 of them. We're going to do a hell of a job at 10 o'clock every night.
Chris,
there was a time, Rachel, when I would vote straight Irish too. Whenever I look at a ballot, I didn't know the candidates. I'd vote for the Irish person. But I do think if you're a liberal or progressive, I think you whistle past the graveyard if you don't see the pattern here. Even if she had lost a narrow race tonight, I think it would have been very impressive for her. And I think that I think people go into a voting with, I've thought this for 30 years, and they vote yes or no. And I think anything beyond that is just the subtlety of the thing. You vote, do you like the way things are going? Do you like the way the officialdom running the country or your community are running things? You vote yes. If you don't, you vote no. In this case, she was a no vote. You didn't have to get into her cultural details. You just knew that she was running against the establishment. I don't know how many times I've heard the word establishment in the last 48 hours. I think more than I've ever heard it in my life. Castle was establishment. Well, what a great name, by the way, Castle.
Well, it is interesting. I think that the mainstream meme about this sort of election, about the elections this year, has been that it's an anti-incumbent year. But I actually think that, however annoyingly vague the word is, it's more anti-establishment than incumbent. Mike Castle wasn't the incumbent for this seat. And a lot of these people who have lost, Sue Loudon, not the incumbent for the seat in Nevada. It's all these people. It's the biggest liability, particularly for Republicans in primaries, is being associated with the Republican Party. And so, Lawrence, how does the Republican Party, heading into the midterms now, with primary season essentially over now, how do they make sure that a no vote a no vote that I don't like the way the country is going translates into a yes vote for a Republican candidate?
They need to channel this negative energy toward the federal government right now. They need to say, this is the way to register your protest. Christine O'Donnell's a protest vote. People aren't voting for her because they think she's a greatly accomplished person, or she's going to be, the star in the Senate floor. It is first and foremost a protest vote. And if she ends up in the Senate, then the protest vote goes all the way. So I think the Republicans are very well placed strategically to channel these kinds of votes into sending the protest message. This is the way you do it. And, this tonight shows that there's a tremendous energy behind that protest.
Lawrence O'Donnell, Chris Matthews, Keith Olbermann, my friends and colleagues here at MSNBC. Gentlemen, thank you for lending me some of your time this hour. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. all.
Great report. Thank you, Rachel.
Still ahead, what tonight's results tell us about Democrats and Republicans' prospects for November elections. We'll be joined by 538's Nate Silver. We're also expecting a lot more results over the next few hours here on MSNBC. Please stay with us. Lots to come.